Have you ever had one of those days where you were moving constantly? You answered every mail, you ran all the errands, you tidied the house, and you felt exhausted by 8 p.m. But when you laid your head on the pillow, you had this sinking feeling that you didn't actually move the needle on anything that mattered. That's the trap of busy, and busy is the enemy of intentional. Welcome back to the podcast Mornings with Ojonimi, and we are going to continue our deep dive into living a life of intention. Last week we talked about why focusing your effort is crucial, how scattering your energy is recipe for burnout and not breakthrough. Today we are moving from why to how. You need to focus your effort. You want your days to count. But in a world designed to distract you, how do you actually channel that effort? I'm going to outline 5 practical, tested ways to narrow your beam of focus and maximize your results, and more importantly, your peace of mind. Let's jump right in. Strategy number 1 is what I call the art of subtraction. When we think about focusing, we usually will think about adding intensity. We think, I need to look harder at this goal. But true focus isn't about starting harder. It's about removing the things that are blocking your view. Imagine a sculptor. They don't add clay to the statue to reveal the masterpiece. They just chip away everything that isn't the masterpiece. If you want to live with intention, you have to get comfortable with the word no. And not just saying no to bad things, that's easy. You have to learn to say no to good opportunities that aren't the right opportunities. Practical application. Here is your challenge for the week. Prune the vine. Look at your weekly schedule. Identify one commitment, one reoccurring meeting, and one habit that sucks your energy but gives you nothing back. And cut it. Cut it today. Focus requires space. You cannot focus on your life's work if your calendar is cluttered with other people's emergencies. Point number 2, energy mapping, not time management. This brings me to point number 2, stop managing your time and start managing your energy. We are obsessed with time management. We color code our calendars, we count the minutes, but here's the truth. Not all your hours are created equal. An hour of work by 9 a.m. when you are fresh and caffeinated, as if you do caffeines, is worth 3 hours of work at 4 p.m. when you are hitting the slump. Living with intention means knowing your rhythm, your body clock, understanding your body clock. I want you to try energy mapping this week. Are you a morning lark or are you a night crawler like myself? Identify your golden hours. That's 2 hours window where your brain is sharpest. Now look at what you do during that time. Some of you binge watch reels at that time, but then let me not judge you. Just look at what it is. If you're using your golden hours to answer trivial emails and social media scrolls, or you're wasting your most expensive currency on cheap things and cheap items, well, protect your peak energy for your peak priorities. Move the administrative low focus task to low energy times. This is how you maximize results without working more hours. Point number 3, reduce the friction. Strategy number 3 is just about environment. I call this friction design. Willpower is like a battery and it drains fast. If you're relying on sheer willpower to focus your effort, you are going to lose, trust me. Instead, you need to design your environment to do heavy liftings for you. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, if you've read it, I recommend that book for you to read this January so it gives you a good head start. And in his book, he speaks beautifully. He talks about this beautifully. You want to increase friction for behaviors you want to avoid and decrease friction for behaviors you want to encourage. Now, let's say your intention is to focus on writing a book or learning a language or even just spending quality time with your family, friends, kids. If your phone is in your pocket, the friction to distract is zero. This is too easy to pull out. Increase the friction, put your phone in a drawer or in another room. Now, to get distracted, you have to physically walk up, and then that tiny bit of friction is usually enough to keep you on one task. Conversely, decrease the friction for good stuff. If you want to work out in the morning, sleep in your gym clothes. If you want to eat healthy, have vegetables chopped already in the fridge. Don't fight yourself. Rig your time in your favor. And this is something, I'll give you a personal example of one of the restitutions I took, and by God's grace, I've been fairly consistent with it. And that was taking a hard copy Bible to church, right? So I noticed I was usually distracted by my phone, having to check WhatsApp messages and emails and things during Sunday service. And my pastor sometimes will outrightly say, those of you checking WhatsApp, turn it off and then open your Bibles, right? And surprisingly, I used to be one of those persons who would want to check one update or the other, or one message I left that I was hoping I would have gotten replies from. You know, that kind of, I'm sure some of you can relate. So, but starting from, I think, the Christmas holidays, I decided, okay, I was going to be going with a hard copy Bible and then my writing materials, and switch my phone off. So from 7 a.m., I beg your pardon, when I step into church, till about 11:30, 12, my phone is off and not with me. Sometimes I even leave it at home. Okay, so that's creating friction for things you don't like, right? And it has taken that distraction. I concentrate more in service. There's nothing to scroll, so I just have to open my hard copy Bible or look at the projector and then take notes. Okay, so point number 4, we are more than halfway through. Number 4 is the one thing rule. Multitasking is a myth, right? The human brain cannot do 2 complex tasks at once. It just switches between them rapidly, losing efficiency every time it switches, right? So we call this context switching, and it's a killer of deep work. To focus your effort, you must embrace the power of the singular. Now, this is something practical you can learn. Every morning, before you open your email, before you check the news, ask yourself this question: what is one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Pick that one big rock for the day, just one. If you get that one thing done and the day is a win, every other thing is just gravel. When you define what winning looks like before the day starts, you stop chasing every shiny object that flies across your screen. And finally, point number 5. This is the glue that holds all together. It is daily review. I know we don't like to do this because sometimes it looks very harsh. Yeah, when you're wanting to review yourself, and obviously you know that you fell short, right? So intention drift, it just does. You can start your week focused like a laser, and by Wednesday you're just putting out fires. The way to correct this course is to check the compass. Now, practically, you need a shutdown ritual at the end of your workday, like maybe 10 minutes, and then you look at what you've accomplished, because celebration builds momentum. Look at where you got distracted. No judgments, just observations. So remember, no judgments. We listen, we don't judge. And then set your one thing for tomorrow. When you plan your tomorrow tonight, you hit the ground running. You don't just wake up asking, okay, what should I do? You wake up knowing exactly where your effort is going. Living with intention, it's not about being a robot. Trust me, it's not about being hyper productive every second of the day. It's about honoring your own potential. It's about realizing that your time, your energy are finite resources. And when you subtract the noise, map your energy, design your environment, pick your one thing for the day, one thing for the week, one thing for the month, and review your path daily. You aren't just going to get more done, you are going to live more fully. You're moving from a life of reaction to a life of creation. I challenge you to pick just one of these 5 strategies and try it this week. You don't need to implement all of them. Don't try to do all of them at once. Just pick one and see how the texture of your day changes. Thank you for tuning in. If this episode helped you focus, please share with a friend who might be feeling a little scattered today. Until next time, live on purpose.